sorry to put you on the spot. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Dr. Kaiser is going to lead us off for just a second tonight. And thank you all very much for coming. I really appreciate all the support we get from our community, and our kids are awesome.
Beth, Brenda, would you come up here and join me? Sure. We're going to have you sing a song. Let me make sure I move this back. Right here.
I just feel so tall.
Yes. Some people are vertically challenged and others are not. So.
Really?
Well,
Maybe.
For those that don't know, Beth has served on the Central 9 board. So Beech Grove, Whiteland, Center Grove, Greenwood, Perry Township, Nineveh. We go to C9, which is a great program. So she has served on the board, and since 2011, she has owned 85 board meetings. And so let's give her a round of applause for that. In addition to being a crossing guard and raising kids and keeping her husband in line. You know, she is the perfect example. How many years have you been on this board? A couple?
Since 1992, so 27.
And we hope she continues. But tonight we want to, C9 has provided a plaque, a clock, I should say. It says, Beth Prindle, in appreciation of your dedicated service to the students and staff of Central 9 Career Center, March 14th, 2019 is when they had it. So we just like to thank you for your service.
Thank you.
And say a few words to say a few words to our crowd here.
Well, thanks to everybody for coming. It's nice to see a few seats filled anyway. Looks like some of you have been on spring break. Central 9 it's just a subsidiary of, giving our kids other opportunities. And the kids, the programs that they have there are really good for a lot of young people. Actually, most, if they want to make that choice, they can kind of have the best of both worlds and receive some college credit in some of them, and job opportunities for post-secondary. So it's just a wonderful place to go if you ever get a chance and don't have anything else to do. Go visit, and maybe some of your kids or grandkids or students that you might have, they may be attending or have an interest, and you can push them along a little bit, show them what it's like. So thank you very much.
And Aaron has taken over the role of serving on the C9 board meetings that are held on Thursday nights once a month. And all the superintendents serve kind of an advisory, and we meet. For example, we met Monday, and then the C9 board will meet and do the official actions for the Central 9, which is just a great program. Also, we started kind of a new tradition talking about the why. And I want to take just a few minutes before we get into the real celebration with our students. We've been talking for a number of meetings about an upcoming potential referendum. And tonight, we'll ask the board for a simple motion that says, yes, you can take the next legal step. It doesn't bind us to anything. In fact, there's a lot of legal steps that will need to take place throughout the summer to put this on the ballot in the fall. But I thought we just might want to take a few minutes and talk about the referendum. In essence, we're talking about increasing operating referendum so that we can pay our teachers some additional money and our classified staff, and then work on an early childhood. That's a very simplistic view of it. We won't bore you all with the details because you want to see your students celebrate. But I would ask the board and administrators or anybody in the audience, I said, why are we doing this? Why is this important? Why is it to take this time and the effort? And I would add, by the way, the total tax that we receive, even this goes in place, in 2020 will still be less than we received in 2007. And we'll discuss that later. So why are we doing this? Why are we taking time and effort to do that? Rick?
Dr. Kaiser, as you just said, I think the why is because it's evident that at the state level we're not getting the help that we need. Hopefully that'll be coming in, but we've got to do it at a local level what the state level is not doing. So the why, on my opinion, my desire is to get that money to the teachers. I think it's very important for us to maintain the level of teaching staff that we have and make it better. They deserve it. They deserve more than what we can give. If I felt, and I'm sure if the rest of the board felt, that our community could give more on a referendum than we're already asking for, we would most certainly give it. But, you know, it's, the economy is rebounding, but it's still not where it was even back in 2007. So hopefully things will change in the next few years, but at least this is something that we can do now.
Okay, good. And again, I want to emphasize that's also an additional $1,000 going to our classified staff over a 2-year period, which is equally as important. Some of our board members have spent a lot of time in the buildings, and you realize how hard our teaching assistants work, our secretaries, everybody else.
If I could add on that too, Ian, this is not a stipend. This is on the base salary. This is not something that's given them 1 year and it's coming back the next year. This is on their base salary, so it's not going away.
Good. What else on the facilities? Janice?
Well, another thing is that we, in this school system, receive several children starting out with kindergarten, first grade, who are already behind. And the early childhood center will help start teaching them earlier, getting them farther ahead, so that will only benefit those children as they grow up and proceed up into Central Elementary, South Grove, and farther, because it's not doing them any favors when the parents aren't helping the kids starting to learn at an early age, so we need to get them so that we can do that for them.
And to add to that, that's the 4-year-old group we're really trying to hit. You know, we get kids at 5 years old that they don't know their name, a letter, and
Right.
they don't know anything. And that's just the way it is, unfortunately, in some cases. We get others that are just off the clock in what they can do. But, you know, again, we're really targeting trying to get as many 4-year-olds into our school district. And our first part is students, potential students who live right in Beech Grove. So, good points.
I know it's been a long time ago, probably close to 15 years ago. Shortly before we started offering full-day kindergarten at Beech Grove, they had a panel discussion at UIndy, and it was early childhood education is what it was. And what came out of that was the 2 most important things for early childhood education at that time, and that's been, you know, things have changed since then, and probably even more important, the first one was full-day kindergarten, but even before that was early intervention, early education, if nothing else, just the learning to the social skills that we're now dealing with, you know, at a very early age, really, but we could actually get on top of those social skills, which is what a lot of it is, you know, by offering before kindergarten setting.
Okay.
Just my 2 cents.
Anybody like to add anything?
Something that really sticks in my mind when we had the teachers come in and speak, and the assistant band coordinator had said, you know, he knew that when he got into teaching that because he loved it and he wanted to do it, that he wasn't going to get rich off of it. But what he didn't anticipate was, even though he gets good marks on his grading and stuff for the job that he's doing, he didn't anticipate not getting a raise for those types of things. And that's just not fair. It's not Beech Grove City Schools' fault that that's happening. So again, this referendum, in my opinion, is why, you know, we want to help these teachers that feel that way, that, you know, it's not fair. And it isn't fair. And there isn't one of us that don't feel that it's not fair. If we had more money, we would give it to them for sure.
And just for our parents out here and those out watching on YouTube, we've cut over $2 million out of our budget over the last couple of years, and we've given our teachers raises 8 out of the last 10 years. But being one of the oldest educators in the room, back in the glory days, we get 5 or 6% new money, and our teachers across the state would get large raises. And I think our governor's trying to do some things. He's doing some things to help us. But, you know, trying to center on the why, we're not doing this because we think it's, you know, we need to do this. There's really a lot of rock solid rationale from the Early Childhood Center, looking at additional security staff to really connect with our kids. We think those are all important. Other comments from any of the board members? Anybody?
Not yet. I know there'll be a lot of information coming forth still to come.
Yeah. And again, this is kind of the genesis, but I think it's important as we focus. We spend some time, especially in the work session. Tom's going to update you under the business section. We didn't have on the agenda, but he wants to give you some tax rate information we think is really important and some other information. Again, this is just the start of the process. And again, we want to emphasize the why and why we're moving forward with this and why we think it's important. So thank everybody time. And now the best part of the meeting. Melody, are you going to announce? So I'll move this back to get it in camera range.
Each will come up with their principal when they get ready to do that, and then at the very end, I'll take a picture, a group picture first of everybody as a group of the student of the month, and then each one will get a picture with their principal, and then have a chance to also get a picture of you, your family, with the student. And if you didn't when you came in, there's a piece of paper over there on the desk right here by the door. Sign up, and then we'll make sure that you get those pictures this evening. Okay, they'll be posted in the Hornet Blast on Facebook. But we want to send you those in case you want to get them printed and post them up in your home and things like that. So don't leave. Make sure we get those pictures, and we'll do it as quick as we can. But we'll do that. So let's get the festivities started. So who are we starting with tonight? Let's do Erin. Okay.
Good evening, everyone. Hey, I'm Erin Provost, the principal at Hornet Park Elementary, and I'm so glad to be here with you on this beautiful spring evening. It's so nice. The kids were so happy to be outside running off some steam today. Hey, I have just a couple of fun things that are coming up. The first fun thing is Thursday, teachers get to do their third quarter data dig. Woo! It'll be great, but I don't have that update for you today, but that is something exciting this week for the staff. Then we have a Hornet Park Central. We have a skating party coming up on April 18th from 6 to 8 at Wheels of Wonder, so we hope you will join us then. And then the two features I wanted to talk to you tonight are about Passport on Main and our kindergarten roundup. So they're back-to-back nights, or back-to-back days, excuse me. So on April 23rd is our Passport on Main Street. That's our first grade field trip where the boys and girls each get a small passport with all the Main Street businesses and organizations that were interested in participating. And we take a field trip, go up and down Main Street, and they visit these organizations and businesses, find out what they had to learn as first graders in order to be successful. It's wonderful. I wanted to give a shout out to so far the businesses who have agreed to support our students in this day. Our post office, the Senior Citizen Center, the Tang Soo Do, the City of Beech Grove, so City Hall, Eckstein Shoes, Kitley Law Offices, Max Graphics, Mike Heimel Auction Center. They love the Auction Center. Fascinated. Positive Partners, Spalding Jewelry, Sutterfield's Plaque and Trophy, The Vault, Treasure Trove, Victory Rolls, my favorite, Vinny's Barber Shop, Police Department, and Fire Department. And so in years past, we haven't had enough response from Main Street to feature all of our first grade students, and this year we are. Last year, I think we had 75 of our first graders could go. This year, every first grader will attend, so we're very excited about that. We love to see that partnership with our community, and the kids really love it. So special thank you to Anthony Osborne and Amy Parker. They're chairing that at our school. Paige Anderson helps out as well. And then we have a lot of chaperones and, of course, our businesses. If any of you on the board would be interested in chaperoning part or all of that day, we would love to have you. It'd be a great chance for you to mix and mingle with the community. So let me know if you are. As a follow-up to that, the next day is Kindergarten Roundup. It's wild to start thinking about our new up-and-coming kindergarten class for next fall. But on April 24th from 4 to 6:30, we'll have our roundup. We invite families to come. It's open house style, so it's not that long of an event. About 30 minutes and your family should be in and out. We do a tour of the building, answer those kind of anxious upcoming kindergarten parent questions, and give a short assessment to the boys and girls. And so we look forward to having folks there. It was a neat thing. Recently, we had a meeting. I was able to participate with Beech Grove community preschool providers, and they are very interested in making sure their practices are aligning and preparing students for kindergarten. So they requested, and I already sent out all of our kindergarten readiness documents to the local preschools. So until, as Ms. King was describing, until we have an early childhood center where we can offer more of that in-house, we're going to partner with those that are doing it so well in our community. So a special thank you to all of our teachers and volunteers and the families who will come that evening. All right, so next month is when it all gets really fun, and we'll have a list of events in May coming up soon. But tonight, that which we are so proud to celebrate is our Student of the Month, sweet Emily Jarrett. So come on down, Emily. All right. Oh, your teachers had so many things to say. From Miss King, she said, "Oh, Emily is such a sweetheart. She's constantly doing the right thing and being a leader for those around her. She has a kind heart and a warm soul, and she's a pleasure to be around. I sure am lucky to be her teacher." Mrs. McDivitt says she's an enthusiastic learner and a great peer model. Mrs. Taylor says she can always count on Emily to set a good example to others in the class. She loves to read, help them, walk friends to the office if they're hurt, and participate. She has a heart of gold. And finally, from Miss Jennings, Emily is a very sweet and smart girl. She makes our mornings with her big hugs as soon as she walks in. She has a smile on her face and her hand in the air to answer questions. She is a delight to have in class and here at Hornet Park. Congratulations to Emily Jarrett, our
And Craig Buckler from Central Elementary.
Good evening, everyone. Just a couple of quick things from Central. This, I believe, might be our most perfect spring day yet. Just happened to coincide with the kickoff of our Learning Garden at Central today. And so 8 of our classrooms were able to go out and participate in that. We're the final of the 5 Beech Grove schools to partner with Big Green and have the Learning Garden put in. The garden is located on the east side of the building, so just outside the gym doors. So it kind of faces right across the street from the church. We planted our spring vegetables. There are some things that are already kind of planted growing, and then lots and lots of seeds. So 8 classrooms today participated outside. The other 11 classrooms will rotate out once the garden starts growing. So the garden team at Central is Mrs. Etter, Mrs. Pfeiffer, Miss Long, Miss Lauerman, and Mrs. Dobbs. And they really have taken the lead on that initiative. They had garden-ish activities inside that we were able to, I helped out today to facilitate for all of the classes while the boys and girls worked outside. So it was great. Drive by, check it out. Hopefully our middle school students will be very respectful as they walk by it in the afternoons. Because of all of the learning gardens that we have in the community, this is the one that will be the most exposed. It is, right there on 10th. So we're super excited to see things start growing. We had some training after school today, and we'll look forward to enjoying some fresh greens in the not too distant future. The other thing that I wanted to mention is on Friday, April the 26th, which is our annual Literacy Day. We used to have that in the evenings, but this will be the 3rd year that we have that during the school day, so all of the students can participate. They spend the whole day rotating through different literacy activities, and everyone in the building, including the classroom teachers, participate. We'll also be working with food services, and they'll have a special themed lunch. This year the theme is Race Down Literacy Lane, and so all of the kind of activities will be racing themed. All of the students in the building as well receive a book that day to take home to enjoy over the summer break. The literacy team plans this, and we want kind of this day of weather on that day because some of the activities are outside. So like Mrs. Probus said, lots of things going on in May that we'll talk about in a few weeks, but those are a couple things that are coming up. So right now, it's my pleasure to introduce Emerson Martinez. She is our March Student of the Month.
I think your brother's more excited than you are.
She's very chill. Great strength. So it's my pleasure to introduce Emerson Martinez as our March Student of the Month. Emerson is a second grader in Mrs. Duncan's class. Mrs. Duncan is here this evening. Mrs. Duncan shares that Emerson is an outstanding role model for all students. She always follows expectations and is kind and helpful to everyone. She is a delight and pleasure to have in class. In reading class, Mrs. Dobbs tells us that she looks forward to having Emerson in class every day. Emerson is always so positive and helpful during reading. She is always
I'm Mrs. Reed, the principal at South Grove Intermediate School. And Emerson's mom was a wonderful student when she sat in my 6th grade classroom many years ago. And Ike's at South Grove now, too. Maybe next year, Ike, as a 6th grader. All right, so a few things at South Grove. We've got a whole bunch of things coming up in May, but I'll cover that at the May board meeting. Few things. Next Thursday, April 18th, is South Grove night at McDonald's on Emerson. So I would encourage everybody to swing by, order dinner, get your Diet Coke, Mr. Buckler. Proceeds of the evening, go to South Grove. So I'm going to be there from 4:30 to 7:30 with our student council and some of our staff members. So I just encourage everybody to come by, get dinner, visit with me, our staff, visit the student workers, and then above all else, support South Grove with your with the money that we get from the proceeds. So that is next Thursday, April 18th, 4:30 to 7:30 at the McDonald's on Emerson. And then coming up April 29th, South Grove 4th, 5th, and 6th graders, all of them, every one of them will be starting the iLearn testing. iLearn does start April 22nd, but the middle school is going to start theirs April 22nd, and then Mrs. Collinsworth, who helps out at both schools, will be coming to South Grove on the 29th to help out with us to get going. So the teachers have been doing a lot of professional development with Mrs. Collinsworth, so I want to thank her for all of that, because this is a new test, and our teachers had to learn how to give this new test. And in turn, the children have been preparing for it all year long. We're not doing anything different now than we've done all year long. So the children are going to be ready to go. It's getting the staff to feel comfortable that they can get the kids through the test. And we will be testing April 29th through May 7th. We're going to do a modified schedule, so we'll be testing from 9 to 11. So that kind of sets our school day schedule off a little bit, but the kids will be fine. But I just want to encourage parents, make sure the kids are there every day. It is 7 school days. We need them there on time. If they come in late, we can't whisk them into the classroom to get them going. They're going to have to wait and then do a makeup test later, probably sitting in my office with 2 or 3 other kids. So it's just better if they're in the classroom with the comfortable atmosphere that they're familiar with and the people that they're familiar with. So April 29th through May 7th, get the kids there on time, and we would greatly appreciate it, because it's going to make it a lot easier for your child, your children, your students to test. So thanks to Mrs. Collinsworth, and thank you parents, and of course thanks to my teachers. They're ready to go, or they will be after training next Tuesday again. All right, and Alyssa Hester, come on up, please. So this is Alyssa Hester. She is a 6th grader at South Grove Intermediate School, although she doesn't quite look like a 6th grader. And I tease my little ones. I'm like, I can't let you go until you get bigger, but she's ready to go to that middle school for sure. Alyssa is the daughter of Nicole and Jacob Hester, and the sister of Addison, who is also at South Grove, and a great student as well. And some things that the teachers have said. Mr. Conley says, Alyssa is a joy to have in math class. Her peers look up to her, and she is a great role model for South Grove students. She enjoys being challenged and always does her best in the classroom. She is well behaved and is able to handle several responsibilities at once. I'm going to save Mrs. Agee's for last. Mr. Boer, her 5th grade teacher, said, Alyssa Hester is a great all-around student. She is always pleasant and helpful. She truly cares for everyone around her and makes them feel welcome. She is a model student ambassador. And Miss Rainey was the robotics, and you might recognize her. She was here for robotics when they were here last month. Miss Rainey says, Alyssa is a wonderful young lady. She is a determined young lady who meets challenges with grace. Alyssa was very impressive this year on the robotics team. She did not let setbacks bother her, and she worked very hard for her team to be successful. She says, I love how Alyssa is always looking to help her teachers and peers. And then Mrs. Agee, we love her, don't we? She says, I bet that William Shakespeare had sweet Alyssa Hester on his mind when he wrote, though she be little, she is fierce. Alyssa is a fierce friend, a fierce academic, a fierce worker, a fierce performer, and fiercely kind. When we had auditions for our very first talent show 2 years ago,
Tom Gerhardt, principal at Beech Grove Middle School. Just a couple of things to update you on. Last Tuesday and Wednesday, we want to thank Mr. Morgan and Mr. Mann, the grill master, for holding a cookout for 137 7th and 8th graders. We split those up into 2 days. Those students were AB Honor Roll students, straight A students, and or perfect attendance students. So thank you both for that. Mr. Lawrence this Friday is taking 6th, 7th graders to the Indiana State Museum to compete in an eco-science competition, and I'll update you on in May about how that went. Also want to thank Mr. Lawrence for planting our learning garden, which we've had for a couple of years now and has survived fine. Mr. Buckler. The material for that was provided through a Whole Foods grant. Tonight is our first track meet and our first baseball game. Later this week, we will have our first softball competition and girls tennis as well. And as Mrs. Reed stated, we will be the guinea pig for iLearn at the middle school. We'll start on 4/22, and we will test the first couple hours of the day. And unlike her, we only test 5 days. So again, attendance that week and being on time is extremely important. And also, like Mrs. Reed, I want to send a big thank you out to Mrs. Collinsworth. She is doing tremendous work in both of our buildings, preparing our staff for something totally new. We've been working on staff development for iLearn since before Christmas. Finally, our Smart Start breakfast will be May 9th, and that'll be the Spring Smart Start. That is 7:30 to 8, and we encourage you all to attend that. Now for our Student of the Month, Ms. Pender. Chloe is a very dedicated student and always works to achieve her best. Doing well in school is a priority for Chloe. Mr. Lawrence says, Chloe has asked me many times this year, is there anything more I can do? To me, this sums up the kind of student she is. She maximizes her time and effort at Beech Grove Middle School. Mr. Sutton writes, Chloe is a very dedicated student and always works to achieve her best. Doing well in school is very important to her. Besides being an excellent student, Chloe is also a young lady who always displays the highest level of integrity. She is trusted by her classmates and teachers and always treats others with respect. Chloe is a person that quietly helps others when she sees a need. I have no doubt that whatever path Chloe chooses in life, she will be sure to make a difference in the world. Mrs. Richardson writes, Chloe always has a ready smile and a pleasant demeanor. She models maturity and the desire toward excellence for her fellow students. Her influence is instrumental in creating a positive classroom environment through her participation, timely completion of work, and willingness to help others. With her work ethic and positive attitude, Chloe will undoubtedly be a success in any future endeavor she chooses. It has been my pleasure to know and work with her this year. And Mrs. Sutton writes, Chloe is a very sweet, kind, hardworking, and motivated student. I have had the extreme pleasure of seeing Chloe grow from my classes at the elementary level into a very lovely young lady here at the middle school. She has a very infectious smile that brightens your day right away. She would constantly ask me if there is anything she could do to help me in the room and was willing to lend a hand to students struggling as well. When I think of what I want my students to exemplify here at the middle school, Chloe encompasses all of the traits. She is extremely hardworking, almost to a fault, where she wants everything to be perfect. She is very dedicated and strives for her absolute best and keeps me as a teacher on my toes to make sure I am giving her my all. She goes above and beyond in her work, but most importantly, as a kind human being. With all of my heart, I know Chloe will go on to be an adult who makes a difference in this world, in her community, and I couldn't be more proud to have had her as my student. She is one of those special students that will stick with me throughout my teaching career. Besides being an excellent student, Chloe is also a young lady who always displays the highest levels of integrity. She has been a member of the volleyball team, basketball team, and is currently running track. Congratulations, Chloe.
And for the first time, I would like you to join me in welcoming and congratulating Dr. Elizabeth Walters, who defended her dissertation successfully yesterday.
Thank you. It's been 7 years in the making, and I'm still sort of pinching myself to see if it's real, but I appreciate that. Thank you. So a pretty quick turnaround with 2 weeks on spring break, but we do have some routine things coming up and two really good news recognitions for our students. So Skills Service Day is a week from tomorrow, which will be April 17th. We look forward to 1,000 students and 60 teachers going out and participating in various things that day. The VIP breakfast is that next Friday, which is April 19th, a week from this Friday. So we'll recognize our students for VIP for second semester. Some of the routine things, we did ASVAB last week for a record number of students for us from the past. We did the SAT today. We will have iStep and iLearn coming up, followed by AP in May. So lots of testing, as you've heard before. But two huge student achievements. Maya McKee has advanced to the DECA International Career Development Conference. She beat out 30 to 40 kids in her event at the Indiana State Career Development Conference, where thousands of students compete in 58 different competitions for a chance to move on to internationals. And Maya is the first in Beech Grove history to advance to that level of competition. So she'll travel to Florida later this month, and we would definitely wish her luck. And then one of our own amazing students, student athletes, Emily Leak, we learned recently has been selected to receive one of the C. Eugene Cato Memorial Scholarship Awards from the IHSAA. She's one of 13 student athletes in the state to be selected for that scholarship through her positions as president of Beech Grove High School senior class, student leadership team, National Honor Society, and Spanish Honor Society. She's been an excellent leader while holding a really high GPA and lettering in 10 varsity activities. So we congratulate her, and we will honor her later in May. I've been looking for her. We knew that Jalen might have a little bit of trouble to get here this evening, so we'll look to honor her in May. But my student of the month is Jalen.
We're just going to take a short break here, about 10 minutes, so that we can get the pictures. So I will turn it over to Ms. Stevens and make sure that everyone gets their shot.
So the whole group of